Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're just going to do another velocity banking review. And we're going to tie it to Squid Game. Remember Squid Game, that show that came out on Netflix, I think 1 or 2 years ago? And it was a huge hit. And it was about people getting heavily into debt and needing to pay it off. Well, now season two came out. So I just watched the first episode of season two. It was all right. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't like, the first episode of season one. It's like where it was like really crazy. But it was all right. So again, I'm gonna be watching this and I'll tell you if it's any good or not. But again, why is this such a big deal? It's because a lot of people are in debt. And a lot of people are willing to go to any desperate measure to pay it off, right? I mean, if I do a Google search about young South Koreans in debt, a lot of them are in debt, right? A lot of them are in debt. More than 1 in 5 South Korean adults heavily in debt. Young Koreans unbothered by escalating debt burden, right? 29 years of age had about $37,000 of debt. So it's a debt-based society, almost kind of like the U.S., but a little bit probably more similar to Japan, but even worse, unfortunately. But that right. So again, I'm pretty sure you could get a line of credit in Korea if you know where to look for it. But line of credit in Korean is 신용한도, right? 신용한도. I was like, how do you spell that? Well, unlike Chinese or Japanese, where you got to memorize the characters, Korean has an alphabet. Let me spell it out for you, just in case you want to see it. All right. So, random Korean lesson, Shingyong Hando. That's that's line of credit right there in Korean. So hopefully you learned something new today. Okay. All right. All right. So let me go back to what we're going to talk about, paying off debt so we don't have to participate in these Squid Games, right? So let's just go ahead and talk about velocity banking and do whatever it is that we do in this channel, which is just pay off debt. So what is velocity banking? All it is a debt payoff strategy where you use your line of credit as your main operating account, line of credit. Okay. So, in order to do velocity banking, it's just two things. Number one, we need a budget. Okay. Number two, we need a line of credit. And that's what we're going to use to move some debt and put all of our paycheck in and take our expenses out. And that's kind of why we use the term main operating accounts, because it's going to be the central focus on our life. Right. And so here we have a budget of $6,100 of income, $5,800 of expenses, and folks, we only have $223 left over. Only $223. So if you're making this money, which is actually more than six figures, and honestly, these days, I can't even say if that's a good thing or a bad thing because I feel like $100,000 these days, it's not that much anymore. But you go back in time 10 years, 20 years ago, you tell someone I make six figures, they'd be like, whoa. Nowadays, it's like, are you poor? No, I'm just kidding. Well, kind of. It depends on where you live too. If you live in San Francisco, you're definitely poor if all you make is $100,000. In fact, I remember I read, I think in Los Angeles County, if you make $90,000, you're into poverty level. So it's all relative, right? But we're just going to assume that we make six figures here. Hopefully not in Los Angeles, right? Because again, that's poverty level. But we have a few debts that we need to get rid of: two credit cards, an auto loan, a student loan, a mortgage, and all this other good stuff. And here's what we're going to do. Here's the big boy part that the banks don't necessarily want you to do, right? Which is not have any savings. And you might be back gasping like, not have any savings. Oh my goodness, right? Because our new savings account is our line of credit, and we're gonna have something called cash flow. Whoopsie, I'm typing in Korean. So cash flow, which is income minus expenses. Okay, income minus expenses. And what we're gonna do with the help of a line of credit is we're gonna dump all of our money into debt. And let's just assume for this example, we have access to a $65,000 line of credit. So what's a line of credit? All it is a financial tool where you could borrow money, pay it back, and then use it over and over again, right? So a credit card's a line of credit, but there's other types of lines of credit. There's personal lines, home equity lines, and take a look at this, right? My $280,000 home equity line of credit. Home equity line of credit. Basically, you offer your home equity as collateral, and the bank will just give you like a giant credit card um, type of device, right? You go to the bank's website. I could literally go to the bank's website, click a button, and then it'll dump $280,000 into my checking account. It will literally dump $280,000. Okay, but obviously they charge an interest rate of actually 7.75%, so they're not going to give it to you for free. But I have $280,000 of funds that I have easily have access to that we're going to use as our main operating account, right? And this is actually me when I first had access to that line of credit. No, that's not me. You know, it's not me. I'm not purple. I swear I'm not purple. Okay, so but here's the thing. I teach this strategy because I am a person who did pay off my mortgage under 3 years. I did it under 3 years, okay? So, results not typical, most of you probably won't do that. I mean, I admit it, right? So it's not I'm not saying you can pay off your mortgage under 3 years. I'm just saying I did, okay? So, let me go ahead and go over this here. So, what we're gonna do is shuffle some debts into that line of credit, and hopefully, that crazy man who slaps you, for no reason and gives you that business card that's kind of goes to a shady island. Uh, hey, isn't that what happens in Enter the Dragon? Don't they go to a shady island, but then it's like a martial arts tournament instead of like them doing crazy things? Well, I guess martial arts tournament can be a little bit crazy too, but yeah, I don't even know what I'm talking about. All right, so what we're gonna do is move some debt into that line of credit. And how do we know which debts to move to the line of credit? Well, we have this thing called the cash flow index, right? So all it is a formula where it kind of ranks your debt, right? So the lower the number, the better. And all it is your balance, your current balance divided by the minimum monthly payment. So this was like 855, right? You see that's 31.5. And actually, let me format this a little bit better. Okay, let me format this a little bit better and format cells, number, yeah, 2 decimal places. There we go. Okay. And we just do the same with all of our debts. So 35,000 divide by 1137.5. And then this one is 25,000 divided by 483.32. And then this one is 50,000 divided by 557.62. And then this one is 200,000 divided by 843.21. And so as you can see here, we basically have a ranking system, and the lower the number, that's the one we want to pay off first, because what is it saying? The lower number is basically saying we get more bang for our buck in terms of cash flow for paying off that debt or moving it into the line of credit, right? Like for example, if I pay off this $200,000 mortgage, I'm only going to get $843 back in my cash flow. But if I pay this $27,000 credit card, I get 855. So which one gives you more bang for your buck? Obviously this one, so we want to pay that off first. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that and move these two debts. So that's 27. What's 27 plus 35? That's $62,000 of debt that we're going to move into the line of credit. And guess what happens when we move that 62,000? Just like a balance transfer. This goes to zero and this goes to zero. And wablam, we magically went from $223 to 2,215. You see how easy that was, folks? This is not a hard strategy. All it is just dumping all your money into debt with the help of a line of credit. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and do this. And we're going to take the previous month's balance, previous month's interest, and then subtract our cash flow, which is 2215.86. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the average daily balance, right? Average, multiply it by the interest rate, which is 0.08, and then divide by 12. Now, why do we divide by 12? Because the interest rate is quoted annually, and then it's always calculated monthly, therefore you divide by 12. Okay. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste all of this, right? So here's the last part of the strategy. You put your entire paycheck in, $6,100, and then take the $3,884 out, and then you rinse and repeat over and over again. That's all you do, right? You see how easy that is? That's so easy. Okay. That is so easy. And let's see when it's all paid off. And we see that in about 26 months, did I screw up? Why isn't, oh, is it because of the font? What's going on here? Why is this going crazy? Oh, no. Did my computer freeze? I think my computer, oh, okay, there we go. There we go. All right. So in 31 months, it's a gone. All right. So that 31 months, not 21 months, 31 months. Okay. And let me zoom out here so you can all see better. That 62,000 of debt is completely gone, right? And see how easy that was. So we just get rid of these low cash flow index debts first, and then now we gotta calculate these all correctly. And so I screwed up because I didn't set this up, but this is the loan calculator that you can set up with Excel. All right, just put the correct term, interest rate, and then here, and then what month are we on? We're on month 31. Okay. And so we see now that the current balance of this auto loan is 13 grand and has the lowest cash flow index number. So I'm going to move this 13 grand into that line of credit. So let's go ahead and do that. Do that right here. Values. And then we're going to move this 13 grand plus 13017.27. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to make this auto loan go to 0. Okay. And then now our cash flow is at 2,700. That is so simple. Holy moly. All right. So let me go ahead and do that. And then now we're going to update our cash flow number 2699.18. Okay. All right. And then we see that in 36 months, it is all paid off. Folks, you want to know something? I'm going to just tell you a random story. Okay. Today, I actually got a traffic ticket because there was a cop hiding out in my subdivision because and I'm pretty sure it's an easy way to get tickets. And I actually didn't stop on a stop sign, or I didn't stop like a full stop. I was just kind of like half aing it. And he caught me. I admit I did it. Well, I didn't admit it in front of him, but it doesn't really matter. But I didn't stop, like do a full stop on a stop sign, and he ticketed me. And I didn't really care, right? Like, I think you kind of become like you feel rich once, like, and I'm not saying that like I could just go ahead and like cause major car accidents. I definitely wouldn't do that. But what I'm saying is that minor traffic tickets, um, getting pulled over by a cop for those types of infractions, they don't psychologically affect me anymore. And I think that's how you know when you start to get rich, right? When you don't even want to go to court and it's like, okay, I'll just pay it, and then because I got other things to do that'll make me more money. Um, it's kind of bad, but it's kind of, you know, it's what happens as you make more money. And again, the more you pay off debt, the more you become like, yeah, that's how you become when you become rich, right? So random story, but it really did happen to me today. I did get a ticket, and my biggest problem is to remember that I have to actually either pay it off or go to court because the tickets don't actually appear on the court's website until like 15 days later. So it's kind of like me collecting the rent where I have to literally remind myself, "Oh yeah, collect the rent," because I don't really need the money. And in this case, I don't care that much if I part with the money, although it would be nice if I didn't have to pay it, but that's my fault, and that's me being an idiot. Okay, so now 36 months, and what do we pay off? So it's 62 plus 25. All right, so that's 87K. Okay, and so now, right? So now we're at 31 months, and then how long did it take us to pay that off? 36 months. Okay. So now let's update this to 36, 36. And you see that cash flow index? Okay. You see it's above 50. Here's the safe bet, especially if you're dealing with interest rates that are lower than line of credit. Use the chunking method. Just use a small chunk and then you'll easily get rid of it. What's the chunking method? Just moving a piece of the loan into the line of credit. So, for example, all right, let's do for this one, this is lower cash flow index. Let's just do like $7,000, right? So we move $7,000 into the line of credit. And then how long did it take to get rid of that $7,000? In about 1, 2, 3 months, right? And so we have like a velocity banking calculator to kind of easily figure out the debt payoff time because you're still making the monthly payment. That's why our cash flow hasn't increased. But let's see how long it takes us to get rid of this debt, the student loan. All right, let's go ahead and put this information in. So I just got to copy and paste some stuff. I might go really quickly, but what's the original balance? $50,000. So 50000. What's the current balance? It's this one right here, 38045.59. 38045.59. What's the interest rate of this student loan? It's 6.1%. and then the payment amount is 557.62, 557.62. And then what's our income? 6,100, and our living expenses is everything except for the loan we're trying to pay off. So it's just this one and this one, right? So that's 2843.21. So let's just put that in here, 2843.21. Okay, and you see it takes exactly 1 year and we save about 7 grand of interest. Okay, so now that's done. Okay, so now we just add, so this will be 48 months. We just add 12 to 36, and then this will be 137K. Okay, now last one is the mortgage. So we just see at 48 months what's the deal, and then it's 182,000. And let's just do it again, right? So this will be, okay, $2,000 because now we don't, the mortgage is going to be taken into account in the current loan. So 843.21, I believe that's the monthly payment. 200,000, 200,000 at 3%, and then 30 years. And what's the current balance? It is 182,520. So 182,520, 4 years, 4 years. Wablam, 4 years. Okay, so you see how easy that was. Now, if somebody invites you to some shady game where you gotta, take each other's lives, it's not a necessity anymore. So this is now zero, and this is 48 plus 4. No, actually, we'll just do this. 48 divided by 12 plus 4. So that's 8 years. Holy balls! All right, so 137K, 137K, and now that's 337K, and we are debt free. Oh wow. No Squid Games for us. We got to celebrate. Let me put on that victory music from a video game. So give me 1 second to find an appropriate one. Okay, I think I found the theme song. I'll just play the Sonic 2 level complete theme victory. Yeah, that's my jam. That's my jam. All right. Well, that's it for today, everybody. I'll just keep watching the rest of the season, see if it's any good or not. But yeah, I mean, basically, we're 8 years and we're completely debt free. And look how long it took us to pay off the mortgage for. Ever watch those velocity banking videos where it's like, pay off your mortgage in 7, 10 years? What a joke. All right. Well, that's it for today, everybody. Have a great day and we'll speak next time.